The UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights are the first universally accepted international framework on business and human rights. The UNGPs, as they are often referred to, were unanimously endorsed by the UN Human Rights Council in 2011. The UN Guiding Principles clarified that respecting human rights is a baseline expectation for all businesses, independently of what states are doing on human rights. Since the adoption of the UNGPs, many companies have embedded human rights into their policies and risk management processes. This is known as human rights due diligence. Human rights due diligence is an ongoing process to identify and address negative impacts on workers, communities, and consumers across a company's operations and value chain. Inspired by the UN Guiding Principles and driven by global movements for business accountability, governments have introduced regulatory initiatives to address the human rights and environmental impacts of business activities. These regulatory initiatives vary in scope, from forced labour bans and corporate sustainability reporting requirements in Europe, to the Escazú Agreement in Latin America, which includes protections for environmental human rights defenders. Some countries, like France and Germany, have passed laws requiring large companies to conduct human rights due diligence. Others, such as Austria, Brazil, Chile, Kenya, South Korea, and Thailand, are developing or considering similar legislation. At the same time, more states are updating their national action plans to address business-related human rights impacts. Why is that? Mandatory human rights due diligence laws translate the UNGPs into binding obligations and hold great potential, but they often have limited scope. They may apply only to large multinational enterprises, focus solely on private sector actors, excluding the state when it acts as an economic actor, address risks only in certain parts of the value chain, often upstream, ignoring downstream impacts after a product or service leaves the company, or be restricted to specific sectors. NAPs can complement these laws by promoting UNGP implementation across all business activities, including small and medium-sized enterprises and areas not covered by legislation. The UNGPs also emphasize policy coherence. NAPs can help situate mandatory human rights due diligence laws within a broader strategy, outlining supporting measures like business guidance, sector-specific approaches, support for rights holders, and external actions such as trade and development policy. Even in countries without mandatory human rights due diligence laws, NAPs offer a vehicle to develop a smart mix of measures, national and international, mandatory and voluntary, to foster business respect for human rights. NAPs are more than just policy documents. They are inclusive, participatory processes that engage diverse stakeholders to plan, communicate, and implement steps to foster business respect for human rights. While not without shortcomings or criticisms, NAPs offer many benefits, including, but not limited to, stimulating national dialogue and mobilizing progress on the UN Guiding Principles, enhancing awareness and capacity among stakeholders, preventing and addressing business-related human rights abuses, empowering vulnerable and marginalized rights holder communities, and aligning business and human rights policies with broader state measures. By implementing the steps outlined in this e-learning course, you can help maximize these benefits and overcome the challenges.